Picture two cops at your door at 6:17 a.m. Lights flashing across your perfectly still private pool. While the woman who started it all stands there in pristine tennis whites looking like she just won the neighborhood Olympics. She told them I was denying community access to something I paid for in cash and built before her HOA even existed. What she didn't know was that the quiet widower she tried to bully used to make a living exposing exactly the kind of paper-thin scams she was running. I'm Ethan Caldwell. After my wife Claire passed, every room in our old house felt like a museum of what I'd lost. So I sold everything and bought this place on Maple Ridge Lane in Oakwood Grove, California, a sleepy suburban development where the lawns are suspiciously identical and the rules are thicker than the HOA president's binder. I wanted quiet mornings, coffee on the deck, and a backyard pool Claire had sketched on a napkin years earlier. A little rectangle of water that was supposed to be our private slice of peace. Instead, I got Patricia Patty Hargrove. She showed up on my third day like a real estate shark smelling fresh chum. White visor, clipboard, vanilla perfume so thick it could double as bug spray. Welcome to Oakwood Grove. I'm Patty, chair of the HOA. We like to keep things orderly. Her smile was wide, practiced, and never touched her eyes. She scanned my yard the way a parking enforcer eyes an expired meter. I was polite. I'm always polite at first. That's my fatal flaw. A few weeks later the first official notice slid under my door, a friendly little reminder that recreational features adjacent to common areas may be subject to shared use provisions under Section 4.2. I laughed out loud. My pool was built 3 years before the developer even formed the HOA. The deed was ironclad. I filed the letter away and went back to my coffee. Patty did not appreciate being ignored. One perfect Saturday morning I was skimming the pool when her heels clicked up my driveway like Judgment Day. She had 2 board members in tow and her phone already recording. Ethan. Beautiful day for the community to enjoy the amenities. Isn't it? She gestured at my pool like it was a public fountain. A few residents have expressed interest in using the space for our new wellness mornings. We thought you'd be happy to cooperate. I kept skimming. It's private. Patty. Deed says so. Built before your rules existed. Her smile tightened like a rubber band about to snap. Oh. I think you're misreading the covenants. Section 4.2 clearly states. I've read it. Twice. It only applies to amenities funded by association dues. Mine wasn't. End of discussion. The 2 board members shifted uncomfortably. Patty's voice rose just enough for the neighbors pretending to water their flowers to hear. We're all in this together. Ethan. Refusing to share creates division. We wouldn't want anyone thinking you're above the rest of us. There it was, the first public jab. The word division hung in the air like a threat. I could feel curtains twitching up and down the street. I closed the skimmer, looked her dead in the eye, and said, the only thing creating division is you trying to take what isn't yours. Have a nice day. She left. But the war had started. By the next week the harassment was surgical. Fines for excessive foliage, my lavender was half an inch too tall. Notices about my trash cans being aesthetically disruptive. Someone photographed my car at 10:07 p.m. and claimed I was hosting unauthorized gatherings. The neighborhood group chat filled with passive-aggressive gems. Some people need to remember we're a community, not islands. Then the rumors started. I overheard at the mailbox that I was difficult because I'd been let go from my last job under suspicious circumstances. Someone had dug up the old false accusation from my corporate days, the one that was proven baseless but still followed me like cheap cologne. Patty's fingerprints were all over it. She'd weaponized my past to paint me as the unstable loner hoarding resources. I didn't yell. I didn't post defenses. I just started watching. And I started documenting. Small cameras at the property line. Time-stamped photos of every notice. Screenshots of the group chat. I'd spent 25 years as a forensic compliance officer tracing money through shell companies and cooked books. Patty thought she was dealing with a grieving widower who'd roll over. She had no idea she'd poked the guy who used to make fraudsters cry in depositions. The turning point came when Maria, the quiet treasurer who always looked exhausted, showed up at my back gate after dark with a USB drive. "Something's wrong with the books," she whispered. "I can't sleep. Every time I ask questions." Patty suddenly finds a new violation for me too. We sat at my kitchen table until 2 a.m. The numbers were beautiful in their ugliness. Inflated landscaping contracts routed through Patty's own realty firm. Emergency repairs that never happened. Kickbacks disguised as referral fees. Over $820,000 in 3 years. Classic fraud wrapped in pastel HOA stationery and vanilla perfume. I smiled for the first time in months. She loves rules? Good. We're going to drown her in them. The community meeting was supposed to be routine budget approval. Instead, it became the fall of Rome and folding chairs. The hall was packed. Patty sat front row in her signature white blazer. Clipboard on her lap like a security blanket. She gave me a pitying little smile when I walked to the podium. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. Slide 1, my deed in the original builder plans. Highlighted. My pool is private. Always has been. Slide 2, the HOA's own charter. Section 4.2 circled in red. Applies only to post-formation assets. Nice try. Slide 3, the financials. Side-by-side invoices. Bank transfers. The $820,000 trail ending in accounts tied to Patty's brokerage. The room went dead silent. Then erupted. Patty shot up. "This is a witch hunt. He's attacking me because I enforce the rules." I clicked to the next slide, an email from her. Signed. Discussing profit participation on a contract that overcharged the neighborhood by 40%. Her face went from confident to crimson to corpse white in under 4 seconds. The mask cracked wide open. She started yelling about how she built this community, how everyone was ungrateful. How I was a dangerous loner with an axe to grind. Her voice cracked. The clipboard hit the floor. Someone in the back actually laughed. Maria stood up calmly. "We've filed with the district attorney. Copies of everything are with the state's real estate board too." Patty looked around for allies. The same neighbors who used to nod at her every violation now stared like she was a stranger. One woman whispered loudly, "I paid $1,200 extra in dues last year for pool maintenance that never happened." The meltdown was glorious. Pure. Unfiltered Karen in high definition, screaming about conspiracy while the entire room recorded on their phones. The kind of moment that makes you feel warm inside even while you're pretending to look concerned. 2 months later, Patty resigned for personal reasons right before the indictment came down. The restitution order recovered most of the money. New bylaws passed with term limits. Full financial transparency. And, my personal favorite, an explicit clause that private property remains private. The neighborhood changed overnight. People actually talked to each other again. Kids played in the street without fear of a clipboard ambush. Maria and I still meet for coffee. She smiles more now. And my pool? Still private. Still peaceful. On warm evenings I float on my back and watch the sky turn orange. Thinking about Claire. Sometimes I swear I can hear her laughing at how the woman who tried to steal our calm ended up drowning in her own rules. The funny part? The same people who once avoided eye contact now wave when they walk past. One neighbor even left a six-pack on my porch with a note, "Thanks for reminding us what community actually means." So here's the question I want you to answer honestly in the comments. I protected what was legally and morally mine. And in doing so exposed a crook who was robbing all of us. Was I the villain, or was the real crime letting someone like Patty Hargrove rule through fear and fake morality for years? Drop your worst HOA Karen story below. And tell me, have you ever stayed quiet too long while someone weaponized community standards? Because sometimes the most satisfying justice isn't loud. It's quiet, patient, and backed by receipts.